So, ladies and gentlemen, it's finally time for me to continue on with the LEGO Harry Potter games, and this time we have the wonderful and improved LEGO Harry Potter Years 5 to 7. And yes, I need to be honest, I have been really lazy since it's been over a week, close to 2 weeks now since the first episode, or the video, came out, and I need to improve on making the videos coming out faster. I really apologize. But enough of that right now. Sit back and enjoy the video. So the game starts off with Harry looking really depressed, reading a newspaper like the little doofus he is. He is of course getting bullied by his wonderful friends. But eventually we just gonna have some fun in the playground and eventually move over to this underpass to hide from the rain. But something is not right at all. Everything starts to freeze around us and we get a little surprise visit from the Dementors yet again. And our friend gets the best sucking of his entire life. But we need to get home. But we get home and try to sleep it off, but that doesn't work. So we have an extremely bad nightmare and we wake up and whoa, we have some new friends. And they invite us over to a little riding session where we can actually just clear our head, and it works. So we join them on a little ride where we get decent amounts of studs, like literally everywhere, which we don't complain about. Then we find ourselves in a park where most of our friends have apparently gotten stuck around the park, and our mission is just to help them get free. It's really simple. So the first one is really simple. We just need to break down this tree and tada, the first one is saved. Now what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna build this little cart full of, shovels and other stuff. And who do we help? Well, we help this little hottie. Now to save the old man, what we have to do is just to get a hammer and just smash it on him till he finally gets unstuck. And lastly, for the legend himself, we just have to turn the statues and he is done. Oh yeah, he's also really lazy, so we have to get his wand for him, then we're done. They show us what real magic looks like by making a house just appear out of thin air, and inside we find our friends from school, and they are a little mad that we committed a war crime, since it's forbidden for us to use some magic outside of school. So we venture off to the Ministry of Magic to sort things out, and while we are here we sense that something isn't right, but we ignore it for now and experience an unusual moment, I guess. Anyways, so we get questioned about everything and Dumbledore comes and shows the big picture, so we don't have to get any punishments. We then move on to the Hogwarts train station where we get stuck and need to find a way out to get out of here. And when we do that, we get attacked by these little gnomes or whatever they are really annoying, that's for sure. And we also get to experience a really intimate moment for a second as well.
That's too romantic, what the hell?
After that intimate moment, we are at a big feast where we get to meet my most hated Harry Potter character ever. I honestly can't stand her, and neither can the whole school. Well, after that little feast, we do the exact thing as we did in the first video, vandalize the Gryffindor dorm. I think this is actually like a tradition for me now, that every time I play a Harry Potter game, I need to do this. I need to remember that. Then we finally get to our first class, where we have a master plan to craft a legendary paper airplane. The best one in the world. And when we finally make our masterpiece, this teacher decides that fun is not allowed. And she also loves cats. Which sucks because we all know that dogs are so much better, like it's beyond this roof. So after we escape that hellhole, we head over to the forest where we find a Thestral. And these are really cool, since you can only see them if you have witnessed death, in game of course, really close up. And here me and Luna helps the Thestrals to get some food. We actually unlock them after that, but I never understood what this meant, since I could never summon them or anything. And back at school we talk to this head, who basically just tells us to
build me an army worthy of
Hogwarts. So we head on out to the coziest level of the game, and it's actually here where we get our first achievement of the game as well. Sorry, that is actually not true. We got the achievement before when we completed the first level, which is this one. But the achievement that I'm talking about, I'm gonna tell you in just a second. Because before that, I'm going to tell you the strategy that we're gonna keep in the back of our mind while playing. We are dividing this up into two simple parts. Part 1, which is really simple. This is to play through the story, and it's here where we're gonna get most of our achievements as well. Though we have a missable, which is the one I was talking about, and it's called Avid Reader. It's really simple to get though. And the perfect time to get it is in this level, which is making an army for Dumbledore. What you just need to do is use a Quibbler machine, which are these ones, 20 times. And that's basically what I did. Stood here, spammed it 20 times, and then boom, achievement done.
Avid reader. Use a quibbler dispenser 25 times.
Now, when this achievement is done, we just continue on with the level, and what we're gonna do is we're just gonna bring some items to everybody, and then we have to do it 3 more times in this little pub, and then we are done. Because now we have a symbol and army of Dumbledore. Let's go! And we now get our secret little hideout, where we can train this army, and we also get to try this new mechanic out, which is amazing. And I love this system, the way they did it, like, you know, you can duel now. Well, we can't duel like when we feel like it, but I would say this is a better combat system than the other LEGO games, for sure. Oh, and also, an achievement for completing this level as well. Let's go. Later, when we are trying to sleep, we get some flashbacks from the disturbance we felt before. And we get help from our teacher Snape to help figuring stuff out, but we really didn't find anything useful for this time, so we will have to come back later. But because we did this little side quest with Snape, that is actually a level, so we get this achievement as well. Let's go! And it's now time for a new spell, the vidoe, where we can cut out shapes from these red walls and do something useful with them. So it is now Christmas, and we're going to go ahead and celebrate it with our lovely second family, but the most evil being is standing in our way. This sucker. And when we get upstairs, we get the unfortunate news that the prison has been broken, and a lot of witches and just in general some really bad guys has escaped. And that is that level done, and we get this achievement. Now back at the castle, we are learning our army on how to defeat Dementors, and they did all amazing. But our training gets interrupted by the most hated teacher in school. And we now lost our secret training grounds for good. And I guess because we are feeling sad, we venture to our good pal Hagrid, who takes us to the forest, and here we meet my new favorite character in the game, Hagrid's little pet, Grop. And he loves music, that's for sure. I mean, just look at him go. And now it's time for us again to try the focus spell with Professor Snape. But this time we go into his past, where we see he was always bullied by Harry's father and his friend. Now, Snape is not happy with us, so we have to leave immediately after this trick. And we have to do a really hard test that we are not prepared for at all, so our good friends Fred and George make it a little easier for us. And that stupid flashback happens again, and we have enough of it. So we break into a teacher's room and try to get to the Ministry of Magic to find out what's happening, but we get caught red-handed. Though something I still don't get to this day is why Ron didn't get in trouble. Instead, she took Harry and Hermione to the forest for some reason, and our new friend Grop helps with our little problem, and with that resulting in another achievement. Now, it's finally time for us to use our good pals the Thestrals, where we fly off to London and enter the Ministry of Magic to finally understand what Harry has been sensing all this time. In here, we find the evil wizards and witches who chase us down and eventually capture our friends. Here a big fight erupts, and after our victory, our flaming head from before sadly meets the spell Avada Kedavra and is no longer with us. And now it's time for me and Dumbledore to fight Voldemort, and when he is defeated, it actually marks us being done with year 5 and also resulting in us getting 2 more achievements. We begin year 6 by seeing some Dementors destroying some parts of London, and we also meet Dumbledore, who takes us to someone's home. It's actually the home of an old professor who Dumbledore wants to teach the students at school, and he agrees, which also gets us a new achievement. Now, Dumbledore gave us a really important mission to gather some of the new professor's memories, so we try to soften him up doing various tasks throughout the game. We found our first opportunity to ask him for some of his memories, but he refuses. He instead makes us clean our dinner we had, and in doing so, the only reward we can get is an achievement. Okay, I think I have mentioned a lot when I've gotten an achievement right now, or trophy, whatever you want to call it, so from now on, I'm just gonna show it to you without mentioning it, until we are completely done. Deal? So since we failed getting his memory, we now instead head over to our new spell class, where we unlock Augmenti, where we can shoot water out of our wand. Pretty cool. So we head home to the Weasley's home to just hang out, but it gets interrupted with the witch being here, so we chase after her. And after a little boss fight, we see that they are destroying the beautiful home. Then we head back to the professor to sweet talk him into giving us his memory, but instead we find that Ron has been poisoned, so we go after the one who did this, and it is Malfoy. And after a confrontation, we head to our next part of the level where we see how Malfoy has been getting these items. Then, it's money making time, baby. We give our professor a good idea on how to make some money after learning that Hagrid's pet spider is no longer with us. And really cruel to make money out of such circumstance, but We need to soften him up in one way or another, right? And it actually works. We get the memories. Let's go. Now, Dumbledore gives us the information that some of the items Voldemort needs are already destroyed, and we are looking for the next item. So we go on to an adventure where we get to the compass, but also sadly witness something horrible back at the castle. Now, with Dumbledore gone, the school is under attack. And also that said, Year 6 complete. Year 7 begins with Harry getting a surprise visit from Ron and Hermione, and also our big fella Hagrid, and some other friends as well. They have a plan that everyone is gonna disguise themselves as Harry, so Voldemort doesn't know who's who. So we do that, and after that we go out for a ride. But we get ambushed, and of course Voldemort knows who the real Harry is, and he tries to shoot us down, but this time he fails. Then we are at the Weasley's home, which has been rebuilt. We get a surprise visit from an unknown fella who gives us some items, which is gonna come handy for us. We actually get to use 2 items straight away. First, the Deluminator, which we can transfer light from one lantern to another. And then the pink base plates, which only Hermione can do with this bag. And also it's time for a wonderful wedding. Look how nice it is, yeah, and of course it gets interrupted. Now time for a little snack. We go to a cafe in London just to relax a little bit, and why shouldn't this trio get an opportunity to relax? Yeah, I actually have no idea. After that encounter, now we go to a little stealth mission. We disguise ourselves to some of Voldemort's goons to interrupt this secret meeting. Though the hero Harry is, he stands up for the woman in question and it's time for another fight. This time, the most hated teacher, so this will actually be fun. We managed to save the woman in question and it's time for us to escape. Now it gets dark, because we ventured to the graveyard to find some sort of symbol. This one. Now, an elderly woman comes and is really nice to us. She offers to help us, but turns out this is not a woman at all. It's actually a snake. So after that beast is slain, it's time for me and Ron to go on an adventure, to find the sword we used in the first game. So we go for a little swim. And I hate these levels. I hate them. And me. So we get the sword, but at the same time, Harry gets a panic attack of some reason. And our hero Ron shows what a real man is. Now on the surface, Voldemort interrupts our fun little adventure with his shadowy presence. So we destroy the compass right in front of him, and resulting in another item gone from the menu. Now, over at this guy's house, we try to find some useful information, so we get told about an ancient story about the 3 brothers. And I think personally this is my favorite level. I just love the art style and the concept and everything, it's amazing. And it also turns out some evil wizards were here and kidnapped Luna, because they asked for Harry and she didn't tell. What a lovely person she is. And after that, we wander into the forest, you know, giggling, have a little fun, and then bang, an ambush. Again, of course, why wouldn't there? So we get caught. And in our cell, we actually get to meet Luna, Ollivander, and this goblin who gets taken away sadly. So we make a mirror in the cell to try and escape, and we get a surprise visit from our little friend, Dobby. Once again, we have to do a little boss fight to get out of here, and something sad happens. Dobby saves us, but he pays with his life sadly. May he rest in peace. After that, we find that the next item we should go after is a cup. So we do use that. We enter Gringotts Bank, where they apparently have a dragon as well. We will come back to that. We continue on in the underground of the bank to this room, and it's here, where we get a cup. Now back to the dragon. Since we help the dragon get free, we use it as a weapon to slay some enemies. Then it escapes to the free world, and I somehow have a bad feeling about this. But we also get to know the next item is a tiara of some sort, which we need to find where it is, of course. We also now get to battle Snape. Of course we won. We are better than him, of course. Now that we are back at school, which is not the same after it got attacked, we find this ghost lady. She actually tells us where we can find this treasure, and it's located right here in school. So Harry is on his way to get to this tiara. Ron and Hermione goes down under the school to get the teeth of the snake from the first game. And with this, they put it in the cup and they destroy the item. Also during this time, Voldemort gets through our defenses and now we destroy a bridge so they don't come here easily. Now, Harry meets up with Hermione and gets the tiara. Then as it turns out, Malfoy and his goons are here to interrupt, and they make the whole place burst into flames. Since we are the good guys, we can't leave them here in the flames to die, so we save them. Sadly, one gets left behind though. And also we destroy the tiara. Now, Voldemort has conquered the castle and it's filled with giants and spiders. Snape is actually having a cup of tea with Voldemort, but since he took the last biscuit, he gets a punishment. So what we do is collect Snape's tears, and then we just leave him there. Because these tears are actually really important. We actually get to see into the past a little, and we get to know that Snape and Dumbledore did everything they did as a part of a plan. Since when Snape hears that Harry is going to die eventually, he does everything to prevent that. Now the last thing on the map is something for Harry to do alone. He finds his parents and friends in ghost form and talks to them. Then decides to fight Voldemort alone, leaving him dead. But it's all according to plan, because in the spirit world, he talks to Dumbledore, and he eventually comes back to life. Now the big fight begins. Neville, Ron and Hermione takes on the big snake while Harry fights Voldemort. There is a mishap though, so really funny they can act like nothing has happened and then boom, enemies again. The snake is now dead, and it's time for us to duel against the big man and himself, and then this happens. There we go! Part 1 is done. By playing the story, it's finally done. It's now time for part 2, the cleanup. So after around 2 hours of collecting student imperils, gold bricks, characters, and also red bricks, I did a little shopping spree. And also got this a little before. And after I got those 2 achievements, I was done for today. Then I woke up. The first thing I did was just to run around and collecting again, and around 6 hours later I did a bonus level. And then bought most of the characters. And when I finally got the last characters, I got to 100%. Oh, and I also got every house quest as well, but apparently in this game they don't have an achievement for that. Just so you know, I did it. But we are not done just yet. First, we have to defeat every variant of Harry as Voldemort. Then we need to defeat Bellatrix with Neville in his waiter costume. We have to defeat Bella as any Sirius Black member. Complete the scene where Hermione and Harry dance. Defeat 30 red caps. And lastly, use a Weasley box with every Weasley member. Now we are finally 100% done with this game. And wow, what an amazing journey it has been. I apologize one last time for taking my sweetest time to make this, and I really hope you enjoyed joining me on this adventure. I would highly appreciate if you could leave some feedback on what I can improve, and also like and subscribe of course. Lastly, I did a poll on my channel where I asked what games are next, and my 1 million subscribers voted for Star Wars, so may the force be with you.